Welcome back, everyone. What is up, Awake? It is good to be back. Did you miss it? Did you miss being in this space? Did you miss sitting next to your friend? Did you miss dominating, or maybe not dominating, on the 9 square? I missed it, and so I am so glad to be back, and I'm so glad that we are jumping into this series called Fight Club. See, there's this verse in 1 Timothy that says, "Fight the good fight of faith." And I don't know about you, but there's something exhilarating or challenging to me about hearing about a fight or a competition. Like, you can challenge me to just about anything. You want to challenge me to a foot race? I'm on it. Push-ups? Let's go. Game of chess? I'm here for it. I love a challenge, which probably means I love a good fight. And so here's the thing. My first fight then was in 3rd grade. You know, you may be thinking, Nancy, 8-year-olds is much too young to be in a fight, but you don't understand. You don't understand what this was. This was a chicken fight. This was me versus Colton Timmons on the monkey bars. If you haven't played chicken, it's where you hang across the bars and then you use your feet to try to grab the other person. And so here I am on the playground at recess, minding my own business, when my friends come over and they say, "Nancy, you have to take down Colton. He is on the monkey bars. You're the only one." And I was like, "Yes, I am. You better believe it. I will take him down." And so I run over to those monkey bars with speed and determination. I lift myself up those ladder. I pull myself across the bars with so much excitement that I'm going to claim my victory. I'm going to have it, that my momentum, when I brought my feet forward, slipped my hands and I fell to the ground and broke my arm. My first fight, guys, and I broke my arm. And I heard in the very quiet voice in the back of my head, that teacher that said, "You can't play chicken on the monkey bars. You might break your arm." Okay, point proven. I broke my arm and I didn't even win the fight, guys. It was embarrassing, but it is my first fight. And you may think, "That's not really a fight, Nancy." I was like, "You're right, all right." I didn't throw punches in the hallway or in the lunchroom. Listen, I've been there, I've seen that. This wasn't maybe a UFC fight that you're thinking about that has skill and strategy and blood. Okay, I've been there, I've seen that. But this was a fight because it was me versus Colton. There was a winner, Colton, and a loser, me, this time. Okay, probably got him back hopefully later in 4th grade. And there's the thing that I want to wrestle with tonight is what does it look like to fight and having these two sides against each other? See, in the Bible, it almost starts with fights. Yes, there's this beautiful beginning of creation and Adam and Eve walking with God together, and then this stupid snake comes in and deceives everybody, and now Adam and Eve are fighting against each other. They're blaming one another. Their kids, Cain and Abel, fight to the death. Right before the flood, Noah lived in a time of violence, also known as fighting. And so after the flood, God chooses a new family, Abraham and Sarah, and they fight. They fight with each other. They fight with tribal kings. They fight with Abraham's servant and a kid. And it's just a mess of fighting to even Abraham and Sarah's son Isaac gets married, and his wife is going to have twins, and they are fighting in the womb. And this is so crazy that Sarah goes to God and says, "What is happening inside of me?" And God's like, "Hey, you got 2 nations in there that are divided, where the younger will be stronger than the older. The older will serve the younger." And if you're an older sibling out there and you heard that your little brother or little sister was going to beat you, was going to be above you, man, you would be fighting too. And so Jacob and Esau, as they're being born, Jacob is grabbing on to the foot of Esau, saying, "No, I'm going to fight my way even into this life." And they do. They fight through their childhood. Jacob has this time where he schemes his way into taking the larger inheritance, more money, more land from his brother Esau. There's a time where Jacob takes the spiritual blessing away from Esau. And so Esau is, of course, mad. He is livid. He wants to fight Jacob. He wants to kill Jacob. And his parents are like, "Whoo! We need to stop this fighting. Jacob, you got to go. You need to go to your uncle's house." And so here Jacob goes on his way to his uncle's house, everything that has happened and followed him, and he lays down to take a nap. And he has this strange dream where these angels are going up and down the stairs, and God is at the top of the stairs with a booming voice, And we're going to pick up the Bible here and see what does God say at the top of those stairs. He says, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in you and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised. And so I need you to hold on to this verse as we continue into Jacob's life, that God promises him that he will be with him and that he will keep him and there is a land for him. And so Jacob goes to his uncle's house, and lo and behold, his uncle is a big schemer. And now Jacob and his uncle are fighting. Jacob sees a pretty girl and is like, hey, I'd love to marry that pretty girl. And his uncle's like, sure, marry her, work for her. On the wedding night, his uncle switches the brides, and Jacob marries somebody he didn't want to marry. So he had to work again for the wife he really wanted. And so now Jacob has 2 wives. And that would bring in, I hope you know, more fighting. Just a side note, if you have 2 girlfriends, you got 2 boyfriends, you're inviting fighting upon yourself and just saying, okay, now the 2 wives have kids. And so obviously their kids are going to fight against each other because my mom is better than your mom, okay? And so Jacob is just like sick and tired of all of the fighting. He and his uncle fight about goats one time. Goats, okay? Like this is just getting ridiculous. So Jacob finally has this moment, goes, hey, there was a time that God said that there was a land for me. I am done with this. Let me leave. Let me take everybody with me, and let's go to this land that God promised me. The catch is that the land that Jacob wanted, he was here, and the land's up here, and there's this space right here. This is where Esau lived. And remember how Esau wanted to kill Jacob? And Jacob has to travel through that land to get to his land? He's a bit scared. And so he's like, listen, I'm already tired of this fighting. I don't know if Esau wants to fight me, but let me send some gifts ahead to say, hey, I'm just passing through. And then he's like, let me send ahead my children, my servants, my livestock, my cows, my goats that I want. Let me send those ahead to be like, I mean no harm. And Jacob gets the report after that there's still 400 men with Esau. Can you just imagine the fighting that he feels is going to continue? And so he'd sent everybody ahead, and let's see what happens next. This left Jacob all alone in the camp, and a man, actually God, came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of its socket. Ouch. Then the man said, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. What is your name? The man asked. And he replied, Jacob. Your name will no longer be Jacob, the man told him. From now on, you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men and have won. Now, did you see that little C there? I hope you see it on your notes. I hope you saw it on the screen, that this is not a typo. This is done on purpose. And it's the Bible's way of saying, like, hey, there could be an important tidbit or important note here. Sometimes it's not important, I'll be honest. Sometimes it says God when it could say he. Sometimes it tells you what a shekel means. I don't know if I care what a shekel means. And so often I read over these little lines because you see it and then you got to go down here and then read it and then go back up here. It's a lot of work. But this time, when I was reading it recently, God was like, well, just look at it. Look at the footnote. And it says that Israel means he fights with God, or God fights. And this is what I want to dive into. And so if in case you're wondering, like, is she ever going to use the notes? She gave me a blank piece of paper to doodle on. I do. I have a whiteboard up here that we're going to do some drawing together, because I want us to dive into, like, what does it mean to say that he fights with God? Because I think when we think of fighting, we're thinking of someone or something versus another someone or another something. Again, at the beginning of this message, I talked about that it was me versus Colton. Again, it's me on one side and Colton on the other. We're against each other. And in Jacob's life, it was Jacob versus, at the very beginning, he was versus his brother. It was Jacob versus Esau. Then it was Jacob versus his uncle, and then there's Jacob versus the wives. And so if Jacob were to look at his life and say, listen, I've been fighting everybody my whole life, and he comes up to this point to have a conversation with God, and he is like, no, listen, I am fighting with God. I am wrestling with God because he's had this thought that I have to fight skin and teeth to say, no, this is my blessing. This is my promise. I'm going to go after it. It's mine. And this is just a mess for Jacob. But I would say that it's the same for us, isn't it? It's the same to say that it's me or you on this side, and it's everyone else over here. It's me versus my parents. It's me versus that teacher. It's me versus that friend that I am always fighting with. It's me versus them. I'm on one side, they're on the other. And I think you would say that it's even in this place where you would say, you know what, I get it. I get it with Jacob. That there's this idea that it's me versus God. It's this way of like, I have so much going on. It's either my way or God's way. I got sin, I got temptation that's all over here, and I'm up against a God, and I just don't see eye to eye with him. Because we don't, right? We do have sin in our lives. We do have darkness in our lives that follows us, that's all around us. We have this. Except I think that we're getting it all wrong. I think that we've got people on the wrong sides. We're fighting the wrong fight. See, in this story of saying that Israel's name means that he fights with God, I'm hearing less of the word fighting and more of saying that he fights with God. And I'm wondering if I continue to read the Bible, if I continue to look at Israel and say, what are you doing? Because Israel continues to fight with God, with each other, against each other, with other tribes and nations. This fighting continues to happen all through the Bible. And I'm just so curious of like, what if they've gotten it wrong? What if we've gotten it wrong? What if instead that wasn't how it was supposed to happen? It wasn't supposed to be me and my sin and my darkness versus God. It's actually supposed to be that it's me and God versus my sin and my darkness. What if this is what it means to say fighting with God? He's on the same side as I am as we attack and go against the sin and the darkness, that God's fighting with me. Better yet, I'm on the same side and God's doing the fighting, and he's probably doing a whole lot more of the fighting because he's a whole lot stronger than I am. And I'm over here finally recognizing that this is my true enemy, not God. It's the sin, it's the darkness. Jacob finally had to realize that his true enemy was the power, was the need for more, was this scarcity mindset that God wasn't going to come through with his promise, that he wasn't going to give him the land, he wasn't going to be with him, he wasn't going to keep him safe. All of these things that Jacob had to fight about, when God's just saying, no, I'm on the same side as you. I'm with you. And God had to weaken Jacob to say that we've got to be on the same side here. We can't be on opposite sides anymore. So then I wonder for you, can we start to look at our fights this way? Can we say that it's me and God versus the sin and the darkness? Can we say that it's me and God and my friends versus sin and darkness and hurt? Can we start to say that it's me, God, my friends, and my family? We're all on one side. We are all together. We are all fighting against the sin, the darkness, the hurt, the pain. How can we start to have a mindset change of what it means to be fighting with God? Because this is the good fight. This is when you're choosing God's side. And I want you to leave tonight knowing that God fights with you, not against you, not apart from you, but with you. And so with your tribes, we want you to feel like you're fighting together. In that verse in 1 Timothy, Paul tells Timothy right before to fight the good fight of faith. He says, I want you to pursue righteousness and godliness and love and gentleness and steadfastness. And so I'm wondering for our tribes this year, what if we look at that and say, this is what we're going to go up against. This is what we're going to fight for. That as a tribe, we're going to fight for righteousness. As a tribe, we're going to fight together to choose what is right as opposed to choosing what is wrong. We're going to fight together to pursue God as opposed to pursuing the world. We are going to do this together. We're going to fight for faith and to believe that Jesus is who he says he is, will do what he says he will do, like fight with us, that he will be with us, and he will bless us. See, these same blessings and promises that God offered Jacob, he offers to us. And so, tribes, I am asking you together this year to fight the good fight of faith. Let me pray for you. Father God, I am so glad that you fight for us and that you fight with us. And so as we look around at our tribe members this year, God, may we learn how to be on the same team. May we learn how to love. May we learn how to fight for faith. May we learn how to share, God. May we just continue to see that we are on the same side with you and that you are with us. We love you. Amen.